From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
The future of the new Laurel power plant is in the hands of the Montana Supreme Court.
We have to have enough electrons and enough gas on our system to meet our customers' needs.
Advocates argue the state hasn't done enough to address potential climate impacts.
Clean and healthful, it's our right.
But plant owners say they've done everything right and should be allowed to operate. Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Thursday, May 16th. I'm Augusta McDonnell. We begin in Helena this morning where the Montana Supreme Court is weighing arguments on a case with major implications for Northwestern Energy's gas-fired plant near Laurel. Advocates say the Montana Department of Environmental Quality did not do sufficient environmental analysis. This when they were looking to approve an air quality permit for the plant. Last year, a state district judge in Billings agreed vacating that permit. During yesterday's arguments, DEQ and Northwestern defended the permitting decision. They're now calling on justices to reverse the district court ruling.
Plaintiffs here are not criticizing the analysis that DEQ did do. Our point is that there's analysis that DEQ omitted.
The DEQ could not, in the exercise of its lawful authority, deny the permit based on greenhouse gas emissions because there are no legal standards for greenhouse gas emissions.
Justices took no immediate action after yesterday's oral arguments. After the hearing, the Northern Plains Resource Council held a rally at the state capitol. MTN asked one of their members what would have changed had DEQ taken a closer look at the plant's greenhouse gas emissions.
It's hard to say, and just listening to the arguments, I got the impression that possibly nothing except that we would know. You can't manage or change what you don't measure.
Despite the ongoing legal battles, Northwestern Energy says the Laurel plant could be fully operational within the next month and a half. We'll continue to follow that story, and joining us now, we've got Ed McIntosh in for Miller. How are you?
I'm well. It's good to see you, Augusta.
Thanks. Good to see you. Glad to have you here. Especially we've got some thunderstorms. We've got a lot going on. Yeah,
the weather's going to be active as we get into the next few days. Looking down towards the Yellowstone, things are starting to fill up a little bit more as the warm days have started some of the snow melt, the limited snow that we did have up into the mountains. So we'll be counting on a few more showers, thunderstorms to help us out. Yesterday we hit 72 for the warmest reading by the afternoon, and the winds weren't a big deal yesterday. We had gusts up to about 25 miles per hour, but stronger winds will be in the mix as we start getting into the next couple of days. Today we're going to expect those temperatures to really warm up. It's going to be the warmest day we'll see for a while. Just isolated thunderstorms, but watch the afternoon sky as readings will start to hit upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. But the rest of the week is more unsettled, as you talked about, and I'll break that down for you in a couple of minutes.
All right, Ed, thank you so much. And new this morning, for one last time, we're going to introduce you to a candidate running for the U.S. House out of Montana's Eastern Congressional District. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian sits down with Democrat Kevin Ham.
Democrat Kevin Ham says he knows he has a different style than some of the other candidates running for Montana's Eastern District House seat, but he believes that authenticity will be an advantage.
As Democrats, we put up the same sort of candidates a lot in the last decade or so, and this isn't a knock on any of them. They're great people. I admire and respect all of them, but I am decidedly more queer than them, decidedly more out, decidedly more loud about the protections that I think need to be in place.
I spoke to Ham at Mount Ascension Brewery overlooking downtown Helena. He grew up in Helena, left the state for work, and returned in 2008. He's owned several small businesses and been a lead organizer of Montana Pride celebrations. Ham has also been active in pushing back against what he sees as a pattern of attacks on the LGBTQ community at the Montana legislature. He says he doesn't believe that activism will hurt his chances, even in a conservative-leaning district.
And what I've found as I've been out on the road, as I've been meeting people, the Democrats are a little bit concerned that they don't know if a queer person can win the race, whereas the Republicans don't care that I'm queer, they just want to know I'm going to fix taxes.
Ham says he's proud to take on the label of progressive. He says even policies like the federal farm bill can be seen as progressive.
Yes, I'm a progressive in the current political environment, but that basically means I think the roads and bridges should work. I think education should be funded. I think childcare should be available. I think housing should be affordable. I think we should take care of our homeless. I think that we should make sure that our farmers and ranchers are taken care of, and we should make sure that opportunity is available for people, and that makes me progressive these days. So yeah, I'm progressive.
Ham says Democrats shouldn't be afraid to talk about supporting abortion rights. On economic issues, he says Montanans are concerned about housing costs, childcare, and other challenges, making it harder to live here. He believes corporations and the wealthy have gotten unfair advantages, and the state's history shows people are willing to push back.
We are uniquely in a place to say, hey, these are the things that we're going to do, and this is how we're going to make things better, because these are Montana values, these are Montana ideas, and this is the way Montana leads. So we can continue to do that because that's how I think.
Remember, you can find our interviews with all of the Eastern District House candidates on our website. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Jonathan, thank you. And again, you can watch all 12 of these candidate profiles right now under the MTN Politics tab at ktvq.com. Also in Helena, a group of Montana Republicans are aiming for a special legislative session this year. State lawmakers are currently being polled to find out if they want to meet in Helena in June. Some GOP members are hoping to address 3 separate issues: immigration, marijuana tax revenue, and the judicial branch. That includes a constitutional initiative to ensure only verified Montana citizens can vote in elections. MSUB political science professor Paul Pope tells MTN this session request is, quote, mostly political theater.
The most unusual one in this one, of course, is the election security agenda that they have here, since all of that stuff already exists.
All 3 calls, I think, are important topics, all worthy of discussion in a special session.
The legislators' ballots need to be returned to the Secretary of State's office by June 7th for a potential session to start on June 24th. The last time the legislature met for a special session was in 2017. It costs taxpayer money to host them. Senate Minority Leader Pat Flowers tells MTN a special session would cost $135,000 on day 1 and $65,000 for each additional day. And in Billings, new this morning, farm fresh fruit and vegetables will soon be available to more people in Billings. A farmer's market opening next month now accepts payment in the form of WIC and SNAP benefits. Q2's Haley Monaco tells us all about it.
In a little less than a month, this area at South Park will be transformed into a farmer's market every Thursday, offering fresh, local, and affordable fruits and vegetables. As Clint King preps his garden for another season of selling produce, he always remembers who started it all.
Our son actually started it in 2009 when we moved out here.
His son, John, saw an advertisement for the Healthy by Design Gardeners Market and wanted to get involved. So he created King Family Farms.
I retired from my state job in 2017 just to help him. Well, that winter, December 28th, he was killed in a car wreck right here at the Lockwood on-ramp.
But King Family Farms continued as a tribute to the one who started it all.
For John's sake, just to, he kind of earned it. He had a good thing going. And
while the produce in this garden changes slightly each year, prices have not, something much appreciated at the Healthy by Design Gardeners Market.
Meeting the needs of our community and bringing fresh and affordable and accessible produce to our community.
Going into their 14th season, the Gardeners Market, starting June 13th at South Park on Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m., encourages vendors to accept SNAP and women, infants, and children benefits.
We also want every farmer to have the WIC sign posted.
We encourage everyone to come down and check it out regardless of your needs.
For many years now, WIC participants have had the option to receive WIC Farmers Market checks.
Families active in WIC can receive $30 per eligible person for the summer to purchase fresh produce. Yellowstone County WIC serves about 2,500 people.
Provides them the opportunity to buy from our local farmers.
One of the most rewarding parts of it is those young ladies with the WIC program, because 99.9% of them truly appreciate it.
Food not only feeding folks, but fueling hearts as well. In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Haley, thank you so much. Billings Heights Daycare, Bibs to Books, is closing for good after a controversial video surfaced last week. We showed you this footage on Friday. It shows 2 toddlers fighting each other with adult employees filming and egging them on. Those workers were fired. In a new letter this week, owner Linda Thomas apologized to parents. She says lack of staff and physical threats toward the business led her to close after 36 years. Thomas was on leave when the fight occurred. She says, quote, "In no way do I condone any part of this situation," adding it goes vastly against what I believe in and what my business stands for. Now in national news, former President Donald Trump's hush money trial continues today. Michael Cohen is back on the stand, and prosecutors have said they expect him to be their last witness. This morning, reporter Joe St. George looks at the latest timeline for the trial and how it might impact the 2024 election.
We're inside 6 months until Election Day, and at this stage, the election is really about moments. Debates, they can produce moments. Conventions can produce moments, too. Here in 2024, the verdict of former President Donald Trump's New York City trial will be a moment. The question now is, when will that verdict actually come?
Well, thank you very much. Let's start by looking at this week in the trial. Thursday, court is taking place, but ending 30 minutes early. Friday, court is not happening because of former President Trump's son, Barron. He has his high school graduation. Trump's legal team has previously said they could be finished questioning the prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen, on Thursday, but that isn't guaranteed. If Cohen is in fact the last witness for the prosecution, that means the defense could be expected to begin to present their case early next week.
It looks like we may get it to the jury next week sometime, so it's moving quickly.
Richard Serafini is an attorney and former federal prosecutor. He doesn't think Trump's legal team will mount a lengthy defense and says it's possible the jury gets this before Memorial Day weekend. There is one variable, though, former President Trump. If he testifies, that could extend this trial. Serafini doesn't think he will.
If he testifies, he's going to stand for a long time, but I would bet almost any amount of money that he's not going to testify.
If the jury gets the case before Memorial Day weekend or shortly thereafter, there is no guarantee there will be a quick verdict. This is a technical case after all. Serafini says sometimes in white-collar cases like this, juries can deliberate for weeks.
I would not be surprised if the jury spends some time and it takes some time to deliberate. If it goes on for weeks, then clearly one or more folks holding out.
Regardless, the trial is potentially entering its final stages, setting up a historic verdict and producing a key moment in the 2024 path to the White House. Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.
Meanwhile, President Joe Biden and Donald Trump have agreed to hold two debates. The first one will be on June 27th, the other on September 10th. The debates are not expected to include a live audience. The Biden campaign wants moderators to be able to cut the mic to limit interruptions. Third-party candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. appears to be locked out from the debate stage. He's accused the Biden and Trump campaigns of colluding to exclude him. Back here in Billings, one nurse is on a mission to make life easier on cancer patients. Q2's Charlie Kleps shows us how you can help her.
It's never easy finding out that you've been diagnosed with cancer. But one nurse here at the Billings Clinic is doing what she can to change that, collecting donations to put together a care package for her patients.
Well, I received my diagnosis by a phone call, and I was in denial.
When Kathy Daly first heard the news, she didn't take it well.
I told them that they were wrong. I said that my pathology is fine.
Unfortunately, it wasn't. The nightmare diagnosis that Daly had breast cancer was all too real.
From then on, it was appointments and chemo and port placement, MRIs, CTs, echoes. You kind of lose control of your life.
Her life completely flipped upside down.
Big breath and poke.
But fortunately, she's had plenty of support.
It's an even scarier time in their lives with a lot of unknown.
Heidi Gilroy has seen the struggle firsthand. As a nurse in the infusion center, her #1 goal is to make patients as comfortable as possible.
Even just be emotional support and trying to teach them the little things that they can do to take care of themselves and their family members is a huge part of what we do over here.
And now Gilroy is taking that care one step further, coming up with an idea where patients would receive care packages like these.
We can give them a little bit of relief and not having to worry about one more thing.
The packages will be available in the next couple months once the donation goal has been reached, and come with everything from a journal to breath mints to sensitive toothpaste, even including some instructions on self-care.
There's a lot of people that will help you out along the way, but to have some guidance and a care pack is wonderful.
A gesture Daly says would mean the world for many trying to make a recovery just like her.
You're going to feel worse before you feel better, and I'm glad to say that I'm feeling so much better than I did.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.